places like the Cook Islands, the country of the Cook Islands, in Tonga, in Niue, in the country of Kiribati, the Marshall Islands, and then all the way to Saipan in the Northern Mariana Islands. And this we did from American Samoa. We duplicated the same plan to evangelize, to edify, and equip the saints. Then the last 5 years, when we were really doing this type of work, sowing the seed, we still are, and planting the church, we still are, we moved to Saipan, the Northern Mariana Islands. And in moving there, we duplicated the process again. Planting the church in Saipan, the Northern Mariana Islands, where some of you know Brother Steve Vice followed us and spent 10 years in Saipan. Then from there, we carried the gospel and planted the church in Palau, in Yap, and in the Chuuk groups of islands. Again, as we did this, we duplicated the same process. Evangelize, edify, and equip the saints. But in this last 5 years, I have begun to think about we need something really that will do more than what we've been doing. We've always been evangelizing, edifying the saints, and equipping the saints. We'd always done this, but we needed something that would blanket the entire Pacific Island region. So, for about 5 years, prayed about it, thought about it, and then one morning, about 2 a.m. in the morning, I said, "Marianne, get up." She said, "House not on fire." I said, "No, it's not on fire." But I've now formulated in my mind how that we are going to go about starting Pacific Islands Bible College. She said, "How'd you think of the name?" I said, "I've been thinking about it for years now." And we're going to start Pacific Islands Bible College. This is really going to multiply our efforts in the area of edification and also equipping the saints. Now, you know, some people that are married in my age, especially the ladies, they even taught it at Haleville High School. Mary had shorthand in high school. And we got up and we drank coffee to the break of day. And Mary took all the notes down in shorthand. I said, "Now you got to translate them, Mary. Now you've got to translate." And so she began to put them on the computer, how we wanted to form Pacific Islands Bible College to be the most effective. We're going to blanket the entire Pacific with a program of work of edification and equipping the saints that would just, it would change the face of the church of our Lord in the Pacific Islands. Now, we have always, and we continue to love the work of evangelism. We're still very much involved, going into very isolated areas where there are no roads, there is no electricity, there is no water except through bamboo pipes that flows freely. We still love that work, and we're still planting more and more congregations. Now, 26 years ago, we started Pacific Islands Bible College. It would never become a secular college. It would be structured like in the very beginning, Vance, like the old IBC. It would be that program of type of work. And let me tell you, brethren, this work has changed the face of the church throughout the entire Pacific region. It has, as the brethren have said, in the last few years, it has really impacted the church and the lives of Christians. We have, from the beginning to this day, impacted 3,000 souls Jesus Christ. Think about that. Think about impacting that many Christians. 3,000. It sounds like the little Pentecost, doesn't it? And it has really changed the face of the church. For those students that take courses in the classroom, these are not our largest classes that you're seeing. The two above are one class. The bottom two slides are two different classes. But these are not our largest classes. They're not our smallest classes. They are somewhere about in the middle. We teach Pacific Islands Bible College classes in the classroom. And then we teach by flash drives anymore and textbooks being sent to the students. And as you'll see in the morning, we've even gone another step. We are impacting the lives from the beginning of PIBC for 26 years, over 3,000 throughout the Pacific Islands. We're very thankful to God. We usually use about 10, 12, 14, 15 men who come from the States, and they're a part of that work. They're a part of Pacific Island Bible. They're instructors. And we thank God for those who come and help us in that area. Now, a few years ago, when I was had in my mind we're going to expand, I said to Mary, sweetheart, we're going to put PIBC on the web page. We're going to put it on the internet, and we're going to make it known to everybody. And the students can even go online. Those who can go online for that long and take a course, they can go online. She said, whoa, Robert, have you thought how that's going to open up a new can of worms? Once you put it on the web, Mary said it's going to go to the whole world. Well, it did. We have 27 of our courses already that are offered on our website. Our website is PIBC, Church of Christ, all lowercase, all together, no periods, no gaps. PIBC, Church of Christ.com. You ought to go on and see. We have a professional to design the website, and it does not stay the same for a year. We always are putting new things on the website, works that are going on, students graduated, and etc. But not only that, Mary Ann was exactly right. We now have PIBC students throughout the Pacific Islands, but we're also in 7 other countries already in the world. We're in Europe and Asia and Africa. And Paul was our first student in Africa. Just think about that. We have gone from the Pacific, and I didn't know how it would grow. I had no idea the way it would grow. But it's really been growing. Paul could not attend the Malawi Bible College local. He couldn't attend it. I said, Paul, why can't you attend it? Do they hate you or what? He wrote back in the email and said, Brother Mark, they don't hate me. They all love me. But I've got too much invested in being a headmaster. What do we call it here? A principal of a high school. I've got too many years. If I were to stop and go to the Malawi Bible College, I would lose all my seniority. I'd lose my job. I would lose all my retirement, and I would also lose my hospitalization for me and my family for the rest of our lives. I can't go. But I saw on the website that I can take courses with Pacific Island Bible College and never leave my job. Isn't that wonderful? You see, when we started Pacific Island Bible College, we made sure that we designed it so that there will be no cap on Pacific Island Bible. That's why we've grown from 5 students to over 3,000 in 26 years. Isn't that a blessing to the world? In the Pacific, and now even in we have those students that are graduated. I love Pacific Islanders. Very intelligent. They can think of a way to do something. They're the greatest engineers and whatever's in the world. And they have said to me, Brother Robert, that diploma is only a piece of paper. What we put here is the most important thing in our lives, and how we are servants of Jesus Christ and His church. So that we do have graduates every year. We have them. Now, what are those graduates? How are they changing the face of the church in the Pacific? You know, before we started Pacific Islands Bible College, we'd always taught on the elders or on leadership, elders and deacons, and etc. Maybe it just wasn't hardly time at the time. But today we see it. We see congregation after congregation after congregation appointing elders and deacons. We thank God for that. Then Bible school teacher. There's another. I love this one. When I use this clip, I did not think about it. That is Brother Salimu sitting, teaching a Bible class. This is very unique. He's a son in the faith, but also a graduate of PIBC. Now, Brother Salimu is teaching in the Samoan language. Brother Omega Malila is also a son in the faith and a graduate of Pacific Island Bible College, and he's translating from Samoan to English now. Believe me, it's a lot easier to translate from English to a foreign language. You try to translate from the foreign language to English, oh, you better be at the top of your game, or you'll lose out in doing that type of work. But this is a very unique slide. Then also preachers. You know, the other day, I started counting. I stopped at 150 throughout the Pacific Islands. I didn't finish. I just stopped. Got tired of counting, and I just stopped. And then there are those that are very confident, not arrogant, not boastful, but very capable radio speakers in the Pacific Islands. Also soul winners for Jesus. I'm here to tell you tonight, to the congregation here at Double Springs, PIBC has changed the face of the Church of Christ throughout the Pacific Islands. Oh, you know, wow, this lady, she's just a crown jewel. She doesn't say a lot of the time. Probably she will say a lot to me, but she's a very gentle and easygoing, and you would be proud of her because of the work she has done all of these years. Because of our daughter Maria, our youngest daughter, she's handicapped. But you know what she's always saying to me? Robert, don't you handle this project. I won't go against my biblical role as a Christian woman, but you let me handle that. You let me handle that project. I'll take it on, and I'll do it. You know, we may have issues in life, but we can work around those issues to be workers in God's kingdom. Marianne Baldy is just an honor and a glory to the kingdom of Jesus Christ. I got an email just this afternoon, and the brother that emailed me spoke this way: "You give Mama Mary my love and best regards." You really meant that with all your heart. You know, we can have an impact for Jesus that will change Double Springs, and you ladies can do it without violating your biblical role as a Christian woman and be great servants in the church. Now, strong Christians means only one thing. Strong Christians means strong congregation. And that's what we've been doing all these years. Our work really is centered around 1972. I said to Mary Ann, we're going to use this approach. We're going to teach them. We're going to train them. We're going to trust them. and not training them, not trusting them to some degree, but I sometimes have that in doubt. But it's turning them loose, turning them loose. That's the hardest thing. And letting them be servants in their own country, in their own area. You want to see the church grow. You teach them, train them, trust them, and you turn them loose. And they'll do great things in the kingdom of God. Let me give you one example. And this is only one of story after story after story, church. Mary and I were just on the phone to a brother and his wife. Brother Nicolau Phil and his wife, Rosa. We were on the phone just this last week. To them. I don't know how many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds that they have taught in the times. In American Samoa, Western Samoa, and now in Honolulu, Hawaii. It's not an exaggeration, brethren. These two have done a great deal. If we train them, if we teach them, and we train them, we trust them, we'll be able to turn them loose to do God's work. You know, I'm always asking myself, what am I doing this work? What am I accomplishing? I know what I'm accomplishing. I said to myself over and over, I am investing in the souls of men and women. You know, that work that was mentioned at the very beginning as the introduction came about, the great amount of mission work done by this church. You are investing in souls all over the world. How much is one soul worth? I want to say more than all the gold in Fort Knox, but that's a bad comparison. It's worth more than all the money in all the world. And we get to be a part of it. Isn't that wonderful? And if we get to be a part of investing in the Lord's work, always look for those dividends as you get older and ready to retire. If you're going to live on your retirement, you better think about the dividends. Think about the dividends of souls. Think about investing in those souls. That's what you're doing in supporting mission work all over the world. And that's what you're doing right here with your manpower at Double Springs. And then with you sending your missionaries out from this congregation. Unfortunately, sometimes I think about it. I think about Double Springs and Haleyville. And I think about it was on my junior year that y'all came over to Haleyville to play. And I think, the reason I think about my junior year, that was the year I met Mary. And then our senior year, we came to Double Springs. And I'll never forget how we were stopping that big lanky looking thing taking off down the field. We got to put a stop to this. But you know what? I think about how that God would take two people from Winston County, put them halfway around the world in the right place at the right time to do His work. We are servants by which others believe. And you're a part of that service in investing in souls. I believe it is your custom to offer an invitation on Sunday night. In the islands, we do not have that custom. People sometimes just get up and respond during the preaching. And we'll stop, do the baptism, and start preaching again. But I know it is your custom here to offer an invitation. What a wonderful opportunity you have to either obey the gospel and put on Jesus in baptism. I did it in 1962. That seems like a lifetime before. I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I did. And then of God, and you're willing to make that confession and put your Lord on in baptism, arise and walk in the newness of life, you can begin that journey that I made from 1962 until today. All the blessings over so many years. But if you're here and you are a Christian, but you need to rededicate your life to the Lord, you know I love the Lord's invitation, and I can just see Him, come unto me, all ye that labor are heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. That's a permanent rest too, not a rest for the night. I've got a long drive later tonight to Atlanta. And sometimes I get weary and I have to roll down the window and stick my head out the window. They stay away. But the rest the Lord's talking about, one that is permanent and eternal. If you're subject to God's invitation song tonight, why not tonight? It's the right time, at the right place, in the right congregation here at Double Springs. While together we stand and sing.
I was sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore. Very deep we sank within, sinking to rise no more. But the Master of the sea heard my despairing cry. From the waters lifted me, now safe am I. Love lifted me, love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me, love lifted me, love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. Souls in danger, look above. Jesus completely saves. He will lift you by His love out of the angry waves. He's the Master of the sea, wills His will obey. He, your Savior, wants to lead me safe today. Love lifted me, love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me, love lifted me, love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thank you, Brother Robert. You know, when the history of the Lord's church is written about our age, there will have to be an entry in there of the Martins. I think about their work, and we have had a part and known of that work for so many years. And I think about Steve Weiss and Pam, and I think about the Fergusons and the Treats and others, and my, what a part of the world has been blessed because of a seed. You know, there's power in a seed. It just amazes me sometimes that the power in a seed, and you think about the power of the seed of the gospel. And so thank you, Robert. We love you, and let's all resolve to be more prayerful and helpful in what ways we can. Let's continue to remember our grieving families. Sister Diane Dutton, we buried Miss Nellie's body last Tuesday, but that grief did not end at the cemetery. And Miss Diane's been with us both times today, but she still grieves over the loss of a void that's been created in her heart and in her family at the loss of her dear mother. Please continue to remember the Danny Pinkert family. That funeral has been, and Danny was 41 years old, and cancer when he was a teenager, I think, and been battling that for all these years. And please continue to remember the Terry Forsyth family. This is Scott's half-brother. And there will be a memorial service for him in 2 or 3 weeks. His body will be cremated, and there will be a memorial service, I think, somewhere probably in Winston County. On our sick list, please remember Tommy. Tommy has been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Normally, folks with pancreatic cancer, lives are cut short pretty quickly. And please, let's help him and encourage him. Let him know you're praying for him. And several of you have been there, and several of you have carried food and other things, and let's be mindful of this family. Brother Ted Rayleigh, we failed to mention Ted this morning, but Ted had surgery at Princeton this week, and I guess yesterday it was about as low limb as I've ever seen Ted Rayleigh on. And it's been a little upbeat today, Philip and Ginger says, but Ted really struggled. He has a lot better blood flow in his leg, but he is still in so much pain. And the doctors say that the blood flow ought to help heal that wound that's on his heel, and he'll go back in 2 weeks and have another stent put in. Yolanda's sister, Teresa Early, will have heart bypass surgery on Friday in Montgomery. I'm not sure, it's Baptist Hospital. I'm not sure what hospital that's in. Joni's sister will have breast cancer surgery Tuesday in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Joni will be leaving tomorrow to go out there. Brother Harold Vickery will have another eye surgery this week, and we are remembering him. And Blake is supposed to see a specialist this week. And Linda Christian, Linda has still not been able to be with us, and she had, I think, more extensive back surgery than some of us have had. She's had some complications, but it hadn't been a real peaceful ride thus far in her recovery, but she is making progress. Don't forget Brother Rob Ray, Rob struggles, and Janie Baldy. Janie will be going in the morning, hopefully, if she can get an appointment, but she has quite severe pain in her side, and we hope it's not pneumonia. Brother Jerry Rutland has not been able to be with us. Lauren Posey has not been able to be with us today. Reba Gower has not been able to be with us. The West, Miss Joyce Mulligan, Mike Daniel, and some others. Let's not forget our shut-ins. We just have several of them, Tim Mulligan, Cavenders, just several of them, and let's not forget them. We have some cancer patients that we're thinking of and some new ones. Yesterday we had a board meeting at Maywood. We want to congratulate Justin. We put Justin yesterday on the Board of Trustees, and that vote was 13-12. No, I was teaching. No, it was unanimous yesterday, and anyway, he'll be joining us on that board, and we hate to lose him off of our advisory board because he's been such a vital part of our advisory board, but hopefully someone will step up and take his place. Also, yesterday we talked about Dennis Washington, and Dennis is on our board. Many of you have known him from his work with Channel Fox 6 out of Birmingham, and the last year or two I think he's been coordinating for Alabama Power and their technological stuff, and he's just unbelievable in what he can do, and he's been such a blessing to Maywood Camp on setting up things on the computer and things. So, but Dennis has leukemia, and we don't know right now if it'll be his daughter or his brother, but somebody will be a bone marrow transplant. They'll have a stem cell transplant, and the doctor is very optimistic that he'll be able to overcome this. And also yesterday, another one of our past board members, Brother Bill Brown, we found out yesterday that Bill has a brain tumor, and it's benign, but it can't be surgically removed. And so please remember Brother Bill Brown. He was from the Roebuck Parkway Church in Birmingham for many years, and I assume out at Deerfoot now. And also, please remember Dale Jenkins and Mark Posey. Mark's doing well now, isn't he, Glenda? And back in the routine. I know he had a funeral a week ago today already over at Decatur to do. And so Mark will be preaching in a meeting starting next Sunday at the Hackleburg Church. Remember our Meals on Wheels this week, and we appreciate so much you that helped with that. There's the last of leaders meeting tonight, isn't there, after service? And so don't forget that. You can't mention all those who do many things. I know. Thank those that had part with the brunch for the widows on Friday. There are those that worked and changed bulletin boards. I mentioned in the business meeting tonight, I thought the churchyard out here and up north and around the building just looked so good yesterday, and I'm not sure who all worked with that, but Richard Sargent not been able to be with us today, and I tried to get him to stay away from that weed eater, and but I know he worked out here Friday 3 hours, and it takes a long time. If you weed eat everything around this place, it'll take you about 3 hours, and it was cold. I got chilled on the tractor, and like the never got warmed up that night. The mission retreat at Maywood is the 28th and 29th. Remember the evangelism seminar, the personal work seminar with Rob Whitaker at Heritage, and that is April 21st and April 21st and 22nd, and the leadership day is April the 14th. May 14th. Yeah, May 14th. I might have said April. I hope some of you will be thinking about, we had graduation Thursday night at the Gus Nichols School of Biblical Studies, but I hope some of you will be thinking about this fall. We start back on September 7th or something like that, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful. We spend 2.5 hours from 6 to 8:30 on Thursday nights, and we have 4 classes, and so think about that between now and September, and we'd love to have a few more to attend if we could at all. The date has been set for our poke salad supper, and that will be on Friday night, May the 6th. Friday night, May the 6th. Poke is already growing, and it'll grow fast with days like we've had today. I have a card somewhere. Sue Knowles passed away. I didn't know that. Okay, that's Greg's mother's sister. Okay. But I have a card to read. It's from 4 different couples, and they all had to write something. And it was from the Sojourners. And we want to thank those that worked with providing that meal. Barbara and Larry Crone wrote this. The food was wonderful. That meat was Texas barbecue good, and fried pies like my mom made. Thanks so much. And from Doug and Ellie Barley, everything was so good. Thank all of you for giving so much to us. From Helen and David Wade, thanks for the great feast. It was all so very good. And from Eddie and Brenda Cox, you all went over and above for the fantastic meal. Thank you so much. The meal was beyond wonderful. Love to you all. And those that made that trip, it was really, really wonderful. We're around the best people in the world. And so next year, when we do that, some of you might want to go with us, okay? If you've not had an opportunity to take the Lord's Supper, it's prepared. As we sing this final song, you can exit and partake of it there. Anything else? Let's all stand. Thank you for being here.
Number 76. Number 76. We'll sing the first and last verse of the song, and then we'll have, I believe, Scott that was our closing prayer. Scott, I think you're closing prayer. All right. All right, number 76. Blessed be the